So my personal favorite Gundam from the Gundam Wing series was Sandrock. And one of the reasons that Sandrock to me was kind of the coolest was because Sandrock was the only Gundam pilot who had his own squad with him. You know, he was the only one who could go in there with just a whole gang of people and just don't even need the other Gundams with him. You know what I'm saying? He don't even need the rest of them. He got a whole team that would just pop up out of the sand like little sand people. This video is sponsored by mechawarehouse, supporting your need to build large robots at a smaller scale. So what is going on, Gunpla fam? Welcome back to the channel. Of course, if this is your first time here and you're into all things Gundam, you are in the right place. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get started with this video. So as you guys know, Gundam Wing has been getting a lot of love around here on my channel recently, and today's video is no different. We're taking a look at the Maganac. This is, of course, if you've watched Gundam Wing, you'll know this as one of the grunt suits that hung out with Catra on the show, and that was always kind of the coolest thing about Catra, was the fact that he had a whole clique with him. You know, so here we are with the Maganac box, and as you can see, it's a pretty good looking box. This is actually what I would say a very full looking box. There's a lot of Maganacs on this cover here, and if you're a fan of the Gundam Wing show, you know that there were quite a few of them in the anime as well. One thing that I will point out here on the front of this box, of course, is that Sandrock is actually standing up here on this ridge over here in the corner, and I think that's kind of cool. I didn't actually notice that until I got ready to sit down and do this video. So that's kind of cool that you have Sandrock over there. But as we pan across, you can see we have, you know, quite a few Maganacs on here, and if you look very, very closely, you can see that there's a couple of different variations going on in the box art as well, which is kind of a cool little detail to add, because if you remember from the show, there were quite a few different variations of the Maganac. So as you can see here, this one's got two giant shoulders, whereas this one up here in the corner has shoulders kind of similar to that of Sandrock. And of course, the main one that we have here on the front, which I guess is kind of just the standard issue kind of thing, has like the regular shoulders with this the giant shield. So very nice looking box art, not on par with what I would say the Wing Gundam box art, but nice box art, you know, not complaining about it. Moving on to the side of the box, we get a nice little shot of both the back and the front of the kit. It also shows us here some of the weapons. So we get a beam rifle, a shield, and a heat tomahawk, which I'm betting that this heat tomahawk is probably thought of from the Zaku, if I had to guess. But moving on, we've got a couple of little action poses here, and then it's also trying to show us that we can store that heat tomahawk on the back of the kit with a little additional plug that we put back there. So in the next section, you can see that it's telling us about the fact that this kit does come with some stickers, and you can see that they've kind of displayed that here with the 40 on the shield and on the arm. Last but not least, they're talking about some of the articulation in the joints here. When was this kit come out? This came out in 2019, so this is a fairly newer kit. So I would assume that, you know, this is some newer technology that, you know, Bandai's starting to implement to make the joints much easier to move. And as you can see from this picture here, the knee is kind of double jointed, so you get that bend in the thigh and at the leg. So, and last but not least, right there, a nice little action pose of him. So here on the left side, there's some information here just on the Maganac and its development. One cool thing that I learned just from reading this little section here is that there were a total of 40 Maganacs built, which is not something that I knew. So actually, and you know what, that there's like this Maganac pack that came out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's only 35 Maganacs in that box. So maybe it's 40. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but there is a larger Maganac set box that you can get, and you can actually have like the entire group, I guess. It would make sense if there's 40 in there, but I'm not sure. So I'll have to fact check that and put that in the comments down below. What I can tell you though is that Nick over at mechawarehouse actually built that set. So I don't know if he'll have the video up by the time that I put this video out, but he actually went through and built all 35 to 40 of those Maganacs. So moving on to the other side, we get, of course, the front picture of that Maganac with the bluefin on this side, kind of covering everything. This is kit number 223. And yeah, that's pretty much all we get on that side. And same thing directly on the opposite side, minus that bluefin logo. So there's our box, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to the manual. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the manual of this bad boy. So of course, here on the front, we've got a nice little picture of the Maganac. Nothing special going on here. I gotta tell you, I'm really kind of spoiled by that Wing Gundam booklet that we got. This here is nothing special, but you do get a nice picture of him here on the front. Off to the left-hand side here, of course, we get some information about the kit, including the model number, height, weight, all that type of just general information about the kit. So jumping into the manual, we get a half black and white, half color manual, as we're kind of used to seeing with our high grade mobile suits at this point. The first page, of course, showing us how many runners and decal sheets we get with this kit. So I would say this kit comes with a medium amount of runners because you're gonna get a total of 6 runners with this kit, as well as 2 decal sheets, as you can see here. And yes, I in fact have not applied any of these decals yet, but we'll get into that more later. Moving on through the manual, of course, we have our instructions, and this is actually a pretty easy build to complete. So flipping over to the color side of the manual, the first thing that we see is that information page. And it's very nice that the information page is now in Japanese and English. I'm not exactly sure when they started that, but I'm glad they did, because I will actually go back and read through this just to read up on some information on the kit. But you'll see here that we also get 2 very nice action poses, as well as some information about both the Heat Tomahawk and the beam rifle. Moving down this page, you can see that they also have those same markings that we saw in the box, showing us some of the markings for the kit. So at the bottom, of course, we have our color guide, and that's definitely going to be very useful if you intend to paint this kit, at least in its original configuration and colors. So moving on from there, we have the front page as seen before, and of course our last 2 pages here in color are pretty much our final assembly of this kit, including some of our weapons and some of the holstering of the weapons. So there's our manual on the Maganac. So let's go ahead and move on to the kit itself, and we'll go ahead and throw that in the pile. So here we go, guys. Here is our final product of our Maganac, and I think he looks really good. I'm actually very pleased with the amount of color separation that Bandai is putting into these kits now, especially for just being a high grade. You know, high grades are usually really cheap kits. I think this is probably maybe like a $12, $15 kit. You know, this is not a very expensive kit, but I'm glad to see that they're actually using the actual plastic to break up the parts rather than giving us a giant thing of foil stickers. But however, we will see on this particular kit that there are a couple foil stickers here that I have not applied, obviously. And I know you're probably looking at this little section of parts that I've also left out, but I have done that for good reason. And that is because I intend to paint this guy. And in order to make the kit easier for me to work with, it's much easier for parts like this where they are kind of meant to be inlaid inside of this shield here, where it would be almost impossible for me to get this bad boy out. So for parts like that, I've decided that, you know, I would just leave them out. However, you can see here, if I do just kind of just lightly put it there, it also gives you some very nice color separation between the two. The only place that this kit actually attempts to correct any of the colors is here on the shoulder pads on the front and back, and that's what these stickers here are for. And then 2 small little gray spaces here on this shield, which is what these 2 are for. The rest of these stickers are for your eyes, and then you get a small one for a vent on this kit as well. So I'm very pleased with the amount of full stickers that they did in this kit. They didn't overdo it. Most, if not all of the color separation is done right here on the kit in plastic. So I'm very pleased with that. But like I said, however, I am going to paint this. So I have left some of these pieces out that would just be an absolute nightmare to try to get out. So same thing here for these back skirts. As you can see, these I have also left out, but you can see if I lightly place them here, if I can get them down, there we go. You can kind of see what this would look like if I were to lightly place these down in that particular location, and even still some very, very good color separation there on this kit. Now, because we intend to paint this kit is the same reason why I have not applied any of the stickers that came with this kit either. Just because even if I go through and apply these stickers just so that you all can see the kit ahead of time, sometimes when you go to remove these stickers, it leaves a residue, which then just becomes something else that I have to clean. It just becomes a headache. So I haven't applied these. So this kit, you also get your rifle here, and this rifle, I think this will look much better once this is painted up, because right now this thing is just all completely black. And if you look back at that manual there, even in the manual, you can see that that cartridge is colored. So definitely we'll do something really cool with that. So last but not least, you do get your heat tomahawk that comes with this kit as well. And I think this thing is really good looking. I think that this thing can look super badass with some good paint. I'm really excited to do this thing up. I think this is gonna look super sharp when I get finished with it. Now, one of the things I'm always a fan of with kits is when a kit can hold its entire complement on the kit. I absolutely love that. I love when Bandai adds things to the kit, even if it's not something that it could normally do in the anime. But I love it when there is the ability to hold all of its gear on the kit. And that's something that this kit does very, very well. So if we take off this shield here, there's actually a place here on the inside where you can actually store this rifle. So you can actually store the rifle here like so. So my one kind of gripe about this is that this is kind of a little bit loose to me, and maybe this will probably get tighter once I actually paint this kit up. But I will say it does do the job, and this will actually hold that rifle there in place. And yeah, I mean, it's there as long as you're not shaking it. So then next we have actual storage for the heat tomahawk. And if you look here on the back, they actually give us an extra little plug here that we can plug into the back of our Maganac that can actually be used to hold our heat tomahawk. And we can just slide that in, and let me see if, there we go. We can just slide that in like such, and this will actually clip on right into the back of our Maganac. Last but not least, they do give us this last little peg here where we can actually use this to attach our shield to our backpack. So if we don't want to necessarily have the backpack on the arm, you can put the shield here on his back, and he can store his shield that way. Oh, and I cannot forget, so we also do get a little bracket here on his arm so that you can attach the shield in two different locations. You can either attach it in the bottom like such, or, which I actually think that's pretty cool because you can kind of do this kind of motion if you do it like that, or you can attach it to the side of the arm, kind of more like a standard mobile suit would probably have it here on the side of his arm like that. But either way, you have options there, and options are always good. All in all, I'm really pleased with how this came out. I think I'm most excited to paint this kit because of these browns and this kind of tannish gray type of thing. It's not a color that I've really messed with at all. So I'm really kind of excited to get into painting this kit so I can see what I can make it look like. And I think if I really take my time on this kit, I think I can really make this thing pop. And I may even try to find some water slide decals to go with this guy, just because there's no way that I'm gonna wanna use those stickers after painting this guy, but we'll see what I can come up with. Hey, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Be sure to come back for the next video for this guy where we'll actually go through and get them all painted up, maybe throw some sauce on them, get them done up real nice. But in the meantime, make sure you guys head on over to Mecca Warehouse if you want to get this kit or other really great kits and you want to get them fast. Make sure you use my code GU10, and I'll actually leave a link down in the description below as well. And yeah, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, follow on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, all that good stuff. Yeah, by the way, can't forget Patreon, guys. If you guys want to see next week's video early, head on over to my Patreon and check that out. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just head on over to Patreon, follow me over there, and you can see next week's video that's coming out. So I appreciate you guys coming by, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.